Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing well. We are continuing the conversation about Tuesday, February 17th, 2026 City Council meeting. We had a presentation from Westside Ambulance, and they were asking for additional funding to cover their losses for operations. So let's get into it. Let's take a look. If you live in the area, I'm sure you're familiar with the Westside Ambulance. They have been around since 1939, so they have been here for quite some time. Let's take a look at they are a nonprofit, so we can take a look at their tax filings. And ProPublica will be able to supply you with what their 990 filings look like. They have been tax exempt since 1947. And over here, you could see if you hover, you could go through the years, but it's settling with the most current 2024. These numbers do align with what was presented to City Council, which is nice because we just had the last video where we saw presentations where the numbers did not align. So thank you very much, Westside Ambulance and Scott Studebaker and team for supplying numbers that align with what is on record with not only the city, but with also the filings for the IRS. So we can see here in 2024, they were also operating at a loss, a little over 1 million in revenue, and expenses were higher than what was brought in. So, again, what we did to help them out is we started subsidizing them with $17,000 a month for their 24-hour ambulance service so they could continue servicing our area. And you can see here that the lost income was 180,000 right here. Now, it does go over the executive compensation, zero. So these are locals, this like we saw right over here at the West Side Ambulance. They've been here since 1939. And of course, they've been non-exempt since 1947. They've been servicing our community for a very long time. And you can see the boards of West Side Ambulance right here. Compensation is zero. So a very, very intense job, first responders. So, we're certainly thankful. But let's get into a little bit more about what our options are here because they did have a couple of different options that were offered here. So if we look at our different options that they said, hey, listen, this is what we could do. We could maintain the current service level. We could keep paying them the 17,000. And we can hope that they do things like maybe increase their rates with partnership. Maybe they could get grants. Maybe they could get subsidized funding for some of these areas that aren't pitching in. So, West Side Ambulance, they take calls all over the place. The city of Orland is flipping the bill. The second option we had for the city was focus on the 24-hour care service and ditching the 12-hour unit. So, this particular one, I believe they're going to be doing a study on to see if this is something that, would be better in the long run. But right now there's a 24-hour care and a 12-hour unit. And then also option three would be, just discontinuing the subsidy altogether, discontinuing the subsidy altogether and having Enlo or AMR, I guess that's another service provider, jump in. And the concern there is that we're just going to have one singular ambulance model, less control, limited influence over future pricing, potentially longer response times. So we do have Enlo that responds out here. So now it's not actually Enlo, it's actually Sierra Sacramento Valley EMS Agency. And here is where they work. So they're a large servicing ambulance EMS service provider. So you can see here in the blue is everything that they cover, including our county for Glenn. And um, they've been around for a while. Some of their stats right here. Let's see if we could get down to some of their stats. Here we go. Um, they have 23 ground ambulance providers, 9 public and 14 private. Total vehicles 375, right? So these guys are going to be a lot bigger than Westside. So, this is an option. They also have flight care, okay? So, these are the guys I think that we use most for our flight care. So let's take a look because they are a larger company. They do have really good reporting, right? So now we did get the report out already for 2025 to see what they did for Glenn County. And now this is the NLO, we call it the NLO team. And it says right here in Orland, what their call time is they want to be at you to service you in 10 minutes. And here we have the number of calls received for the month. Right here, number of calls received for the month. The number of times that they were late and the on-time percentage response, their average response time. Okay, so their average response time, they strive for 10 minutes, but look at what we got here. We got 6 minutes. This team's coming out. They were only late 28 minutes, or excuse me, 28 times. And then they also went out to Willows. They went out to the other county areas in Glenn, excluding Hamilton City. And then here we have the all Glenn priority 2 and 3. So we did we're looking right here at I believe this is going to be all Glenn priority 2 and 3. I'm not quite sure what that is. But nevertheless, they have really good stats here. So we have a service provider that says that, hey, choose us, use us, look at our response time. Now, when I went to look into the packet that we received, because Westside Ambulance did provide some reporting, although it's not going to be as comprehensive because, they're a smaller unit. But let's take a look at response time. We don't actually see Westside Ambulance giving us a response time. They just say things like it improves response times, but I wonder what that is. If we backed up Westside Ambulance to these numbers, what would that look like? What would that look like? I'm not sure. So, so this definitely is, I'm hoping that these type of things are going to be put into consideration when it comes to the study that comes out. Of course, it's just when you have such a local business that has done so much for the community, it's really, really difficult to kind of turn your back on that and like Matt Romano, councilman, said just be a cold-hearted businessman, because it really starts hitting home. Now, what ended up being said a lot is, where is Willows? Willows isn't helping us out at all because we go down to Willows a lot. So right here, Councilman McDermott read off some dispatches for 2025. We went out to Willows 100 times. Okay. We went out to Willows 100 times. We've asked Willows for our help, and Willows just as flat out said, no, we don't have the money. Okay. So, a lot of audience members were upset. F Willows. That's all I got to say. I mean, it's we need help from other people if other people are going to be using our services. So, it's definitely something that I believe Westside Ambulance is going to work towards. Let's go back over here to ProPublica and take a look, because I did notice In 2023, the revenue was really low. So this, I believe, was before we decided to kick in those subsidies. And look at 2023, the expenses were 1.2. Ouch. Ouch. Did they were making money here for a minute, so they're probably running off their reserves. This is 2020. Let's go over here for 2020. 2020, their expenses were 900 and 30K. And so they made, they made about a 100K. I mean, not a lot, right? When they're operating at such a large loss. So, 2019 was really low income, 612, 2019 expenses. Yeah, so they were operating, revenue for 2018 was higher. We had 1.25 million. Again, not a very large profit margin. So ultimately, what city council decided to do is city council decided that, hey, we're going to approve this. So they approved, I believe it's Measure J, pulling, let's see, it probably says here at Orland.news. Let's see. Um, it doesn't say, but I believe it's pulling from Measure J, but they did approve funding them. So we did approve funding them for the 22,000. And what we're going to do is we're going to get some type of study that is hopefully going to see if there's any offsets that we can do to assist West Side Ambulance, or if there's other models that might be better suit for the ambulance service providers. So, I mean, all in all, the local community, I want to say overall, really does support the West Side Ambulance. But, we do have to consider that, we are in a deficit. Could we be using more of the Enlo service? Is that something that we want to consider? I'm not sure how the dispatch works. I don't know, how do they decide that West Side Ambulance is going to take the call versus Enlo takes the call? That I don't know. Um, so we'll see. I'm sure that we're going to see West Side Ambulance at the city council meetings when those studies start coming out. But I just want to give you guys an update on that agenda item. Again, we did approve the additional funding for West Side Ambulance. And, again, we do want to thank these guys, especially the executives here. Again, the executives are making zero. Compensation for them has been zero. So, just outstanding commitment to the community, and we are all thankful for it. Hope you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you later.